If you would believe it, the Nintendo Switch 2 is 1 year old today. In a world filled with overpriced consoles, Nintendo is the only one to stay loyal and humble, with prices that are just so low. Oh. Well, at least they're the only ones brave enough not to raise prices. Inflation is crazy these days, with both PlayStation and Xbox having their prices for their consoles higher now than they were when they first came out. Nintendo has held strong, deciding not to raise prices. Fuck! Let's just talk about it. We have seen the Nintendo Switch 2 4 months in and 8 months in. You see, where we left off, Resident Evil Requiem had just released, and it was great by the way. But that was in February. Ever since, many new games have come out, 2 of which were Nintendo's biggest successes in recent history. And when I said many, I meant just those 2. So let's break down how the last 4 months have been to keep up with tradition. And then after, we will break down the entirety of how the last year has been for the Switch 2. And if you're thinking, well geez, you talked about 4 months worth of games in the last Switch 2 video and it took you half an hour, so it's probably gonna take a while because we have another 4 months of games to talk about. Don't worry, it won't. Alright, well why don't we just jump in straight into the month of March. To start the month strong, we actually have 2 classics. WWE Who the Fuck Cares and MLB the Oops Don't Care edition. Alright, listen, no disrespect to people who enjoy these types of games. I just don't respect you. No, for real though, there is a reason they keep getting made. If I had to take a guess, it would have to be some kind of money laundering. But still, there is a reason. Is that the loudest plane imaginable? In terms of actual first-party games, we actually have a pretty big Nintendo Switch 2 edition. That being Super Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition. So I've actually get to talk about Super Mario Bros. Wonder and my thoughts about it on this channel before. So let's recap my thoughts on the original game real quick. This game is awesome! My gosh, this game is a perfect 2D platformer, beautiful visuals and animation, amazing level design, not too easy baby mode, but also not too hard. Seriously, this game is my favorite 2D game of all time. Not just 2D Mario game, 2D game. It's truly an example of how Mario never fails to make amazing video games. Now, how is Super Mario Bros. Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Meetup in Bella Bell Park? I don't know. I didn't get it. Why would I be bothered? The content of the game does not add anything substantial. It's literally just a few mini games you can play with your friends, and it costs $20. Nintendo, I thought we fixed this! Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition was $20 and a blatant scam. At least the entirety of this game is in 4K, unlike that game. No, I'm not over it. Anyway, no, I did not get the game. Maybe one day if I ever want to replay that game, I'd get it. But not anytime soon, and especially not for 20 bucks. Also, there was a pretty big game that released this month, the kind of game that kind of changed the perception of the Switch 2. That game, of course, is Pokemon Pokopia. Pokopia? Pokopia. Pokopia is a cozy, friendly game that sees Ditto, who is one of the last Pokemon that survived in some sort of giant extinction of humans and Pokemon, and has to bring the life back all by himself, rejuvenating the energy, life, and spirit, not only the people and residents that no longer exist, but in the world itself. Is this a cozy game or a post-apocalyptic nightmare? Anyway, the Pokemon and the land all come back, thanks to you, and you spend a bunch of real-life days rebuilding Pokemon civilization. Very simple premise, but I could not imagine this game doing amazingly, and I guess that's what Nintendo thought as well, because there was actually little advertising for this game. Sure, there was a few basic commercials and maybe a pop-up stand in Walmart, but besides that, this game was not heavily advertised by Nintendo. Pokemon Fever went into overdrive. It was like Pokemon Go all over again. You had people who never bought Nintendo consoles in their life going to buy a Switch 2 just to play this game. That's how popular it was. Hell, you had people who never even seen a Pokemon in their life buying this game. So, what happened? Honestly, I have no idea. This game kinda came out of nowhere. Everyone suddenly needed to have it. I guess it has something to do with the game's charm and its funny moments. There's a lot of funny phrases and screenshots that were shared across the internet and TikTok respectively, which a lot of people took interest in because they were pretty funny. Regardless, this game did amazingly, a very great start to the month. But usually when Nintendo drops a big game for the Switch 2 like this, they like to wait a little bit before releasing their next big game to give people some time to breathe. I'm a big enough man to admit when I'm wrong. I'm also a big enough man to admit that this is actually a Switch 1 game and not a Switch 2 game, so haha, I'm still right! So I know it's not technically a Switch 2 game, but I think we should still talk about it because it still heavily affects the history of the Switch 2 specifically. It was kind of the exact same scenario. People who never owned a Nintendo console flocked to the stores to buy as many copies as they could, as well as still buying Pokopia. It's funny because these games are actually pretty similar to each other as well, in that Tomodachi Life is another cozy game where you make your own civilization, but this time you create the characters from scratch in the form of Miis. The Miis can date each other, they hate each other, make babies with each other, they can even talk to each other using any phrase that you give them, and so much more. Yeah, that's right, this game has literally zero censorship. You can make the Miis say whatever you want. Yes, even that. Pervert. They also allowed you to draw anything that you wanted and give it to the Miis as items that they can use in the game. Yes, even that. What the hell is wrong with you? So yeah, people bought this game. It's still kind of hard to find copies in the store. People were buying Switch 2s left and right, and some people even bought a Switch 1 to play Tomodachi Life, and I am very sorry for your poor financial investments. I personally bought both of these games and put my fair share of hours into it. It was a little difficult for me to fully commit because I was actually in my last few months of college. Yeah, that's right, I'm a college graduate. But boy, are these games good. Whenever I did have a chance to play, I played for hours at a time. Pokopia is such a good game. You have to solve puzzles and problems and gather resources to build houses, and you can decorate them any way you want. It truly is a more expansive version of Animal Crossing, which released their own Switch 2 version back in January. I guess everyone wanted to release their own cozy game on this console. But I hate to say it, Pokopia makes Animal Crossing seem like a tech demo. This game is massive, with 5 huge areas to explore. I only unlocked 3 of them. I'm struggling. This game is so good. And also Tomodachi Life. I played the original Tomodachi Life on the 3DS way back in the day, so I was all aboard for this game. I created a lot of funny characters, my real life friends, some celebrities. It truly is a hilarious and fun game to sit down, turn off your brain, and play. I only really have one issue with the game, and it's not with the amount of content in the game. Well, at least a little bit, but it's that this game runs like an asthmatic with one leg. It is bad! It's locked at 30 frames per second, and sometimes can't even handle that. I understand that for the Switch 1, but for the Switch 2, you're going from 30 frames a second on Tomodachi Life to the 60 frame 4K Pokopia. It is a big difference going from one to the other. It makes Tomodachi Life look really bad in comparison. I would actually love a Switch 2 version of this game. It would be so cool to utilize the mouse controls instead of certain touchscreen elements, like using it for the Mii Maker, as well as dragging the characters around. I mean, this game literally has a cursor. It's kind of perfect for it. I also wouldn't mind new content. A good amount of stuff from the 3DS version is entirely missing, which is a bit of a bummer, but I'm sure this game will get more stuff in the future, as well as a Switch 2 update. Or maybe not, I don't know, Nintendo's weird sometimes. Anyway, enough about Nintendo masterpieces, let's keep looking at April. 2 pretty cool third-party games actually came out on the exact same day, which was a day after Tomodachi Life came out. Those games are Pragmata and Mouse PI for Hire. I have yet to play either of these games, but they both look really good and seem to run very well on this console, and I'm very happy about that. Pokemon Champions also came out this month, and in case you were having too much fun with the other games, don't worry, this game will make sure that you're not having fun. This game runs even worse than Tomodachi Life on the Switch 2. This game runs at like 10 frames per sometimes, and the input delay is atrocious. I can't even comment on the quality of the game. I gave up about 3 minutes into trying the demo. But anyway, those are all the noteworthy games for April, and honestly, really good. Might be one of the best months for this console besides maybe June. You have a major first-party game release as well as some really solid third-party options. So this is usually the part of the video where I say Nintendo is on a roll, and I really can't wait to see what they have in store for next month, but then when I show the next month, it's usually not as good as this month, but I'm not going to do that because that would make me predictable, and the last thing I want to be is predictable. BAM! Didn't see that coming. Also didn't see this coming. Man! Yeah, this month sucked. We got Indiana Jones, a game that's like a year old at this point, releasing now. Okay, that's weird. But I've been noticing that's a bit of a trend for them recently. They're releasing games that run very well, weeks or months even after they release on other consoles and PC. Like, look at the new LEGO Batman game. It released on all consoles this month, May 22nd. But for Nintendo, it's releasing September 18th. I guess it takes longer to make sure the game is properly optimized for the Switch too, but I guess I'd rather wait than not have it at all, so. Anyway, Mixtape came out this month, and I'm very scared to comment on this game, because I've heard very divisive things online, and I'm very scared to get in the middle of an argument, and I hate confrontation, so I will swiftly move on and not talk about this obvious industry plant. The big first-party game that came out this month actually was Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and the only thing that's mysterious to me is that who the hell plays this game? I guess children. I guess children play this game, so yeah, okay, that makes sense. Not every Nintendo game has to be for me. A grown-ass man, by the way. Look, I played the demo at Best Buy, and I was not impressed at all. To be fair, I never really played any of the other Yoshi games because it didn't seem like something that would be interesting to me. It's like an easier and baby version of like Mario game or even a Donkey Kong game, and I hate that bitch. So I really do not have much to say. Wow, we're kind of going through these months really quick. I mean, I guess the games that we did get from Nintendo are very high quality first-person games, so maybe they're trying to do quality over quantity, but still, that was kind of quick. Even all of the third-party games that released were pretty small and not really worth talking about. There wasn't even a funny-sounding game that I can make fun of. Where's Dinkum when you need it? Anyway, the final month is June. So I'm actually recording this on June 4th, so all the games I'm talking about are actually not out yet, but that won't stop me from talking about it. Look at me. I love to talk. We actually had some pretty big games this month, and by big, I mean small, and by games, I mean game. And I sure hope so, because it is the Switch 2's 1-year anniversary month, so I hope they have something good planned, like a Mario Kart World update, or a new 3D Mario game announcement, or hell, maybe even a new Star Fox. That last part was obviously a joke. Nintendo does not care about Star Fox. I think they'd rather die than release a new Star Fox game. They don't care about Star Fox. You know where I'm going with this, right? You know exactly where this is gonna go. You know, I'm being predictable again, aren't I?
Atmospheric entry complete. Extend the wings.
That is crazy. What's crazier is how they went about this. A few weeks ago, they just announced one day on Twitter that they're actually going to do a new Direct. And usually they announce a Direct a day in advance, but they said, hey, we're going to be doing a Direct in 15 minutes, and it's all about Star Fox. Come on in. Brother, what? We haven't heard anything about Star Fox since 2018, and suddenly we're doing a Direct in 15 minutes? I'm doing my laundry right now. I don't have time for this. And then the Direct came on, and it was a brand new Star Fox game. And by brand new, I mean it's a remake of the N64 game, but still, it's a new Star Fox game. So, how do I feel about this new Star Fox game? I don't know. For real though, the last one we had was on the Wii U in 2018, and that one sucked. This game is a remake of the N64 game if I'm not mistaken, which is a bummer. It's not brand new, but it might as well be. The graphics and storyline are all brand new in terms of quality. They look so modern and really cool. Sure, the character design is questionable, but it still looks really good. I hope this game does well, as Star Fox fans have been playing the same 3 games for the last 30 years, and they're going to be playing one of them again because this is a remake, but yeah, that's kind of it for the last 4 months. That was all the major first-party releases. Sure, we had a lot of third parties, but nothing substantial. I understand it's the beginning of the year, and usually they have stuff planned for like the summer or like the winter, but nothing really these last 4 months. So yeah, that's kind of it, at least for the Switch 2's first year. We talked about every major release over the course of the Switch 2's life. So why don't we take a little look back overall? Was it good? Was it worth it? How is this console hold up after 1 year? Let's find out. First, I want to talk about the actual hardware, and then move on to some of the games, and then move on to a couple of problems and other issues that this console has had so far. So first up, the hardware. This console is still so good. The 4K resolution looks so good on a 4K TV with HDR output. I play Fortnite on this thing a lot on TV mode, and if you told me I was playing on a PlayStation, I would believe you. That's how good the graphics look. So the output I have no problem with, but the actual controls, I wish the mouse controls were utilized a little more. If you didn't know, you can take the controller off, put it down on its side, and use it like a little mouse. And it's a really cool feature, and I wish more games used it, because having something as precise as a mouse in your video game can be very good. For like different types of shooting games or those cozy life sim games we were talking about, a mouse is perfect for those types of games. Yet they're not really utilized as much as I want them to be. Not even Resident Evil Requiem had one, and they had huge support from Nintendo and integration exclusive to the Switch too, like HD rumble for certain elements of the game, and amiibos that are actually coming out later this summer. Some games do use it, don't get me wrong, but Nintendo likes to add elements to their consoles that no one really likes to use, and soon enough they fully stopped supporting it as well. I would hate to see this feature removed. Imagine a game like Mario Maker 3 using it to build levels and would be so cool. Moving on from that, the Pro Controller is actually still one of the best controllers I've ever held in my entire life. This thing is so good. Yes, it is way too expensive, but it's so good. The Joy-Cons themselves are actually still pretty good too. I fear they're a little flimsy at times, but they have yet to snap, fall off, lose any magnetism. It still holds up very, very well. The online also feels better too compared to the Switch 1. Like, downloading a game is pretty damn quick, and playing a game online with friends also pretty damn quick. If you try to play online on the Switch 1, you would be lucky to even get into a server, let alone it run well. Let's see, what else can I complain about? I think we need a new menu. We have had this same menu for almost 10 years. It's practically the same one as the Switch 1. Please let us add themes or customizations. What are you so scared of, Nintendo? It's not gonna bite. Like, we've only had light and dark mode for the past 10 years. Please at least add red or something. I'm getting bored. There's also still no menu music. Nintendo, you're pissing me off. But if I'm going to be honest, these are all nitpicks. The console itself is damn near perfect. Everything is responsive, the games are fluid and crispy. I have yet to have drift on either the Joy-Con or the Pro Controller, and I love playing on it all the time, even a year later. So, is it worth it? Yes. Absolutely it is. If you want a console that plays your Switch 1 games in even better quality than the Switch 1 ever was able to do, this is a premium upgrade. I feel the exact same way about the console now than I did a year ago. It is the best handheld console I have ever seen. And that includes the Steam Deck. Don't hurt me. So the hardware is really good, but the games... We have some of the best games Nintendo has ever made, but also some of the most games. To start off, we had Mario Kart World, which is still probably my favorite Mario Kart game. Donkey Kong Bonanza is an amazing 3D platformer, despite the main character being a bitch. You know, while I was looking back at the game catalog, I realized I missed two games that I'd actually never talked about. So let's talk about it right now. The first game is Dragon Drive. I wonder why I didn't talk about this game. Did any of you guys remember this game came out? I don't think it has the competitive scene Nintendo was looking for. I'm also still not sure to this day whether this game was offensive or not. I mean, you play basketball, do trick shots and wheelies and jump in the air on wheelchairs, and you control the wheelchairs like this with the mouse controls. That's kind of offensive, is it not? But I don't think the game was popular enough for people to even notice, let alone get offended, so whatever. And the second game I forgot to mention was Welcome Tour, a game that cost $10 that was basically just a fancy tech demo for the Switch 2. Did I buy it? Yeah. If I'll be honest, the game is actually pretty good. Being able to play a bunch of minigames using the mouse controls or the camera or the Pro Controller with friends and family is pretty good. It'd be fun to whip out at a party and try to challenge your friends to like a little tournament with the games. But after about 2 hours, you kind of unlocked everything that you need to unlock in the game. So you're just playing the games over and over. And the games themselves are not very technologically advanced. It's like using the mouse to dodge bombs while you're a plane going through them. It's basically Fancy Galaga. But it is still fun. I don't think it's really worth $10, maybe like a 99-cent download, if it had to cost money. It should have been free. So yeah, there's those two games. But overall, I think the variety of the games that we got for the Switch 2 is my favorite part of it. Like, we got open world platformers like Donkey Kong and Kirby. We got Mario Kart and Kirby Air Riders for racing games. We have shooters with Metroid, life sim games with Pokopia and Tomodachi Life, and so much more. These games are pretty damn cool and very unique, but I think it might be too unique for a general audience. See, the general audience likes Mario and Zelda. We do not have a traditional Mario or Zelda game made specifically for the Switch 2, just Switch 2 versions of 8-year-old games. Instead of Mario, we have Donkey Kong. Instead of traditional Mario Kart, we have a different, unique version with you driving from one course to another in this big open world. So while people like me and you are enjoying it a lot, the general audience doesn't really get it. They don't really see a connection with it. Because don't forget, me and you are the weird ones. The general audience, they're normal. So that casual market is not being met. Until a few months ago, that is. With the release of Tomodachi Life and Pokopia, I think Nintendo is getting that casual market back. They got them to buy a Switch 2. It's only a matter of time before they pick up Mario Kart or another game that might interest them. So the last year's worth of games that we've gotten are very good for a back catalog. We still don't have that major first party hit that gets people to go to the store and buy the console. Sure, we have little stuff here and there like Pokopia and Tomodachi Life. We don't have that new Mario, that new Zelda to get people interested. Once they do, this last year's worth of games are perfect for a back catalog. A brand new 3D open world Donkey Kong game is perfect for someone who has already beaten a game that they bought the console for. Same goes for Mario Kart for something more casual. Same goes for Drag and Drive if you want to be a little offensive today. But the games that we have right now, they're not system sellers. They're not going to sell consoles. Sure, like I said, Pokopia, but the general audience that has a Switch 1, they're not going to see a reason to buy a Switch 2 yet. There's no exclusive game to make them want a Switch 2. And also don't forget, the general audience doesn't really see a difference between 1080p and 4K and 30 frames and 60. They don't know what that means. All they know is they have a little device that plays Mario. Why would I want another slightly bigger device to play Mario? See, me and you are the only ones that noticed Tomodachi Life was less frames. And you probably didn't even notice either. And like games like Mario Kart World, they are system sellers. But Mario Kart World is very unique. And also Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling copies to this day. People do not see a difference between these two games. They don't understand what an open world means. All they know is I already have the racing game. Why would I want another racing game? So I feel like we still need that hitter for this console. And hopefully this whole year was spent building up that back catalog and we're going to get some heavy hitters over the next year. I can only hope so. So let me ask you this question. Is this console worth it for you? Well, it depends. All of the games on the console look very good, but the future looks bleak at best. As of right now, we have no confirmation for really any major releases that sell systems. Sure, we have little games here and there like Splatoon Raiders and Star Fox, but nothing major. So if you want to wait for like another year to buy this console to see what other games are going to come out, I wouldn't really blame you. We really need a Nintendo Direct right now because in terms of games, this console is not looking great for the future. But everything else looks really good and really promising. If you haven't noticed, the prices of the games are actually going down. Star Fox and Splatoon Raiders are both $50. Compare that to Mario Kart costing $80 a while ago. I mean, it still does, but still. These are smaller games Nintendo would have no issue selling for $60 to $70, but now it's way less. And I think that has something to do with some other unfortunate news that was delivered quite recently. They are raising the price of the Switch 2 from $450 to $500, which is really unfortunate, but not horrible. I mean, the Xbox and PlayStation are both well over $600 right now, so it's still the cheapest console on the market. I think something to understand as well is it's not because they're greedy. I'm sure if they could lower the price, they would, because the console is not selling well right now. The thing is, we are currently struggling because of stuff. RAM is at an all-time high, so video game systems are going up across the board, like Xbox, PlayStation, and now Nintendo. They even raised the price of the Switch 1, going from $300, which it's been for the past 9 years, to $340. So while the console price went up, some of the games are going down. Like Tomodachi Life and the new Yoshi game are both $60 instead of $70, like they very well could have been. I know it's very low-hanging fruit to compliment the billion-dollar company from ripping us off, but we need to take the small wins when we can. So this console is more expensive right now, but I actually think they're offering a bundle which lets you get the console for $500 and get one of 3 games for free. Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, or Pokopia. That's a pretty damn good deal. And I feel like they feel bad about raising prices because Nintendo really only gives away free games when they have too much money or not enough. So So there is one last thing I want to talk about regarding this console. I think Nintendo keeps forgetting it exists. So with a name like the Nintendo Switch 2, you'd think they'd focus all of their efforts onto this new console. But we are a year into this thing and we are still getting new Nintendo Switch 1 games coming out in a few months. I understand consoles don't magically just move on, but I am so sick of the Switch 1, and Nintendo had no problem moving on from the Wii U as soon as they dropped the Switch. Like that, they dropped it. It is so underpowered, everything runs horribly. We finally have an upgrade that's amazing in every way. It can run games that the Switch 1 could only dream of running. So why are they focusing all of their efforts on this old piece of hardware that's almost a decade old? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Look, I get it. It's an amazing selling console, but it is time to move on. It really is. We have had a 4K Nintendo console for a year. Do you know how crazy that is? We've had a 4K system for a year and no game has truly taken advantage, and I really hope that changes soon. And it kind of is, because there's a new Call of Duty game coming out this year, Modern Warfare 4. It was announced shortly after the reveal for it that it would be coming to the Switch 2. This is huge. The last Call of Duty game we got on Nintendo was on the Wii U, and that was Call of Duty Ghosts in 2013, and that's unfortunate. It's been 13 years because we finally have a console powerful enough to run it. Take advantage of it. We need to move on from the Switch 1. They have built up an amazing catalog over the 9 years, but it is time for the next generation. We need bigger games that could not be made before due to limitations. Games like Donkey Kong, Pokopia, Mario Kart, they were all just glimpses into this future. All those games started as a Switch 1 game that were made into Switch 2 and buffed up a little because of the new technology, but we have yet to get a fully immersive, from the ground up game for this console. Imagine a Zelda game that made for the Switch 2. How cool would that be? So yeah, Nintendo raised the price of their consoles. They forgot half of their franchises existed. They keep making Switch 1 games, and somehow I'm still so excited to see what this console is going to do next. Those bastards! Every single year they suck it. Every single year they got me like this. It's like I'm in a toxic relationship. Like, look at this. This isn't healthy. Regardless, this has been a very interesting year for Nintendo. They released a brand new console, and I don't even think they care about it. So I really hope things start to shape up for this console soon, as this was a decent first year, but we really need to start picking up the pace as soon as possible. So yeah, that's about it. I'd love to thank all of you for coming on this journey with me. This was a fun little trilogy of videos I got to make. The videos are cool because they're like time capsules, showing my thoughts progressing as the year went on, going in depth about certain games that I would have never talked about otherwise, and being able to share my thoughts and opinions on the internet because people don't do that enough, I think. I'm also very sorry because I wanted to do a bigger video for this 1 year in special, but there was really nothing I could do. There was no big games that came out. I couldn't go to the store to pick one up because there was really nothing I really wanted. I couldn't do an unboxing or a midnight launch because I already have the damn thing, and there's nothing like new coming out that's really worthy of like a midnight launch or something to go out and do. So to make up for it, I've actually been dropping a video every single day for the past week. And so if you've been keeping up with that, I actually hope you really enjoyed it, because it was a lot of work, because I am a one-man show. I did everything myself. It was a very stressful week, but also pretty damn rewarding. I've made some of my proudest videos this last week, and I'm not stopping here. Many more videos to come. So I hope you subscribe. I hope you like the video. I hope you watch all my other videos. Get engrossed in my content. That sounded gross. You know what I mean. With that being said, I'm probably not going to do an update every 4 months anymore. But that does not mean I'm opposed to yearly check-ins to see how this little console is doing. Maybe the next year could be a little more dramatic since I'll have a year's worth of content to catch up on. So, my final verdict. Is the Nintendo Switch 2 worth it after 1 year? I don't know.
Oh me, oh my. Shake that bad boy, huh? Look at that.